Hello, Caleb. How are you today?
I'm good, Jared. What's going on?
Well, I had a question. Do you remember one of the very first times when we started working together that we went out to eat together?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think it was my first week on the job, and you had a Burger King coupon.
Oh, yeah.
And we went there to eat some chicken sandwiches. But we found out something kind of peculiar about one another that day.
Well, I let you order first. I mean, you were my guest, and I thought, well, I've already trapped him into a chicken sandwich, and so let's see what he does. And the way I remember it, you went up to the counter first, and you ordered a plain chicken sandwich. I mean, these are not fantastic chicken sandwiches to start with. And you ordered yours completely plain, completely dry.
Chicken patty, bun, the end.
Flavorless, boring. I'm like, oh, really? Just dry, plain.
And then you probably walked up to the counter, and how did you order yours?
I ordered I ordered the exact same thing because when I saw that, I thought, oh, a kindred spirit. This is I know that it's boring. I know that there's not a ton of flavor there. Most people would put whatever kind of sauces, mayonnaise, lettuce, whatever on a chicken sandwich, but that's not how I want it.
Yeah.
And so I saw you order the exact same thing, and I'm like, oh, hey, at least we have something in common here. Now, we have continued this practice of sharing a meal together every week. Every week we go and we have lunch together. And we don't have the exact same tastes in everything. There's a lot of differences, but we both have a lot of food peculiarities.
Sure.
We have some strange preferences, maybe some foods that we're not super proud of.
But doesn't everybody have those when you really think about it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and because I'm a fairly finicky eater, I mean, I don't have anything like, pickled pig's feet or something really, out there.
Yeah.
I'm not a hunter that, can absolutely make, a meal out of any, woodland creature. But we do have some odd ones. So I challenged you to make a list. Give me your top 5 food fouls. Things that some people would kind of cringe at or think, boy, that's a little bit out of bounds or just a little bit odd.
Maybe some people won't consider all these weird, but in my mind, I'm like, these are kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, give me your first one.
All right. So for starters, I've got a chip. Okay. Now, I like chips. I eat chips almost every day.
Okay.
Usually pack some kind in my lunch. My favorite is Doritos. I think a lot of people like Doritos.
Sure.
But there is a chip. I don't eat it that often, but I do like it. And in my mind, the pitch meeting for this chip had to have been so weird. Like, hey, let's make a chip that's the flavor of onions. And let's make it look like onions. But people are going to love them, and they're fun. So they're Funyuns. What a strange chip. And I like them. I think they taste good. I don't eat them that often.
Oh.
But, you can't be seen eating Funyuns. It's not like you eat Funyuns and then you, go on a hot date or something.
That's not fit for polite company or something.
No, it's not. And I remember when I was a kid, I think everybody's probably done this before, but you'd nibble out just a little bit of the Funyun and then use it as a earring or do stupid stuff with it, twirl it on your fingers, put gold rings on, just crazy things like that. I still like the taste of them, even though it's just an onion, a fake artificial flavored onion chip.
See, I have a ban. I can't. I've done too many youth group trips where inevitably some kid decides, well, we're in this crowded vehicle, all in close proximity to one another. I'm going to eat a bag of Funyuns. And then you get to enjoy their breath for the next 3 hours of the car ride. It
probably helps that my olfactory senses are not that astute or keen. So I don't smell those things nearly as sharply as other people do.
Oh, yeah, I can barely stand it. Mercy sakes, that's tough. And I like chips, but
I think we can agree that's a weird chip that exists out there.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people would proudly proclaim, but this is kind of confession time.
That's right.
Let's confess some things we're not super proud of. And actually, I wanted to pull one out from my past. This isn't one I do anymore. I quit drinking soda maybe about 5 years ago, and so my dentist has never been happier, than when I quit drinking soda. But when I did, I would drink, whether it was diet soda or regular soda, I would just have these ridiculous volumes. I mean, a small cup of soda was 44 ounces. And so it was not unusual to have these buckets. And I wrote in my notes here, buckets and troughs are for farm animals. and I really, really should not have done this, but I did for years.
So you used to drink like massive soda quantities.
Big, huge quantities. It'd be nothing to knock down, one or two 50-some ounce things of soda.
I don't know how often he used it, but we got my dad one of these one year. Have you ever heard of a Bubba Keg before?
No.
It's just a big, giant, cup, basically, with a resealable top and a handle.
I probably have used something like that many a time. And I still drink a lot of water. But now I look back, it's been several years now, and I look back and like, man, I was just guzzling.
Yeah.
I did not need a bucket of Mountain Dew or Diet Mountain Dew or whatever it was I was drinking. I didn't need a bucket of it. And I carried it around with me everywhere. And I was like, now I kind of look back on, I'm not super proud of.
Well, and speaking of like weird foods or what have you, because I actually do like Mountain Dew, even though I don't drink it that much anymore. It's like a nuclear green soda. Like, that's kind of weird, isn't it? That we consume that?
Yeah. Well, now they have watermelon flavored Mountain
I've
Dew.
seen that. I haven't tried it, but frankly, I just don't drink soda nearly as often as I used to, if for no other reason than just cost.
Yeah.
We drink water a lot in our house.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't do that anymore, but boy, years and years and years and years, I was never without a fairly large container, a bucket of soda. Yeah. And man, I would have been better off if I had not done that. So that's one I've actually repented of. That's the only one on my list that I've actually put in my past, and I'm past it now.
Well, that's a good food foul.
Yeah.
Well, to bring it back to the original kindred spirit conversation,
okay.
I've got a plain food on my list that is maybe even weirder than a plain chicken sandwich. Because with a chicken sandwich, frequently I will dunk it in like buffalo sauce.
Sure.
Or put some buffalo sauce on there. I don't put anything on these. A plain, boring hot dog. And I feel like that's weird and wrong. Like, maybe little children.
Yeah,
maybe little children eat hot dogs plain. But literally, I like a bun and a dog.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big condiments guy, first of all.
Yeah, see, neither am I.
That being said, I would do a chili cheese dog. I'm okay with that. But usually, like if it's summer and people are grilling hot dogs, I eat a plain hot dog.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a food fault, I think.
Yeah, the family cookout, I go through the line and get a plain hamburger, plain bun, plain hot dog, plain bun.
So you also do hot dogs plain?
And so there's this whole section of condiments and extras, and people are like loading them up and figuring out how they're going
on by that.
I just walk right through. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I just completely skip that over, which kind of takes me to one of mine.
Okay.
I consider this probably a misuse of a buffet. Most buffets I go to, I'm only going to pull one or two items off the buffet. And so my plate will have maybe 2 to 3 items total.
Okay.
And there may be 50 choices, 100 choices on some of these buffets. Some of these buffets pride themselves and look at the variety that we have. I just don't do that. I can't think of a buffet where I would come back with more than 2 or 3 items. I know 1 or 2 things I like. I'll get those things. I might make more than one trip, but I just don't get the, I had to section off, 12 sections of my plate for all the different things I wanted, or stack them or whatever. I just don't do that.
And you're saying you think it's weird that you don't do that.
Yeah.
I think I agree, because I usually do the opposite of that. I'm like, so many different things to choose from, and I get pretty small portions of all of them, so I can kind of sample them, as opposed to like, I'm really digging this one thing and I'm just going to have half of my plate with that one thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what a buffet is probably for. but I just don't ever do that. I get a hefty portion, maybe seconds of 1 or 2 items, and yeah, I don't think I buffet correctly. And so, yeah,
I didn't think it was that
know
complicated.
I know that's not normal. Everybody I eat with, I mean, with my family or friends or whatever, everybody else is getting this variety, and I'm getting like one or two items, and so I admit that I'm not doing that correctly.
That's all right. We still love you. Well, anybody who knows me knows that I love candy. And I'm not really ashamed of any of this stuff. These are just things that I like. I love all sorts of candy. I love sour candy. That's the best stuff. But there's one candy that I like that's basically just sugar. And I don't know why this candy exists. But if it's lying around, I will just continue popping it in my mouth. And that's candy corn. Now this is seasonal. And
oh, praise the Lord.
And candy corn, like, I think objectively, it's not that great when you compare it to so many other things. But
okay, can I ask you, what's the flavor?
That's what I'm saying. It's like sugar. Sugar is the flavor. I might as well be eating cubes of sugar.
Oh, no.
But you know the funny thing? I'm in a small group with a few other couples and young adults, and all three of the guys that are consistently there, including myself, we all gobble the stuff up when it's around.
Really?
And usually it's around two of our homes during the like Halloween season, and it's just sitting out there in a dish, and we have to be like, take these away from me, because you just keep on scooping them and eating them and scooping them and eating them. They're so small and they're just so bite-sized and easy to chew on.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I've not had candy corn in your lifetime.
Wow.
I'm sure I had it as a kid. I can't think of a time since adulthood that I've had candy. Really?
If they're sitting around, they're so easy to munch on. Although I will tell you, surprisingly good, candy corn mixed with nuts. Now I know to you that's anathema because you hate peanuts.
I'm not a nut guy, no.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not even saying they're great. I'm just saying I eat them with reckless abandon if they're around.
Right.
And that's weird because it's just Halloween sugar. But
yeah, the old timey
kind of
candy like that. Huh. Okay. All right. Well,
what's your next one?
My next one, my notes here say let them eat cake, or let them eat at least the corner piece of the cake. And this is a act of selfishness on my part. I confess that freely. I don't eat very much in the way of desserts. I don't eat pies. Don't really eat a lot of cake. But I do like just real basic, like cafeteria style, like, sheet cake, like a yellow cake with chocolate frosting.
That's the best kind.
That's in my book. That's number one. But specifically, I don't like corner pieces. Oh. And so if it's my birthday cake, really, and especially let's say I only eat maybe just the one or two pieces, because I really should not be eating more than that, then I'm going to pick the most ideal piece for me. And in that case, I'm going to cut one straight out of the middle.
You want the interior piece.
I want an interior piece. And that really, we should serve it up, and you should take whatever piece of cake is served to you. You shouldn't be like picking and choosing. If there's like if you're at a wedding or something and they're just handing out the little tiny paper plates with a piece of cake on, just take whatever they hand you. But I just no, I really would not want a corner piece. I don't like frosting that much.
Okay.
And so I really want the center piece. And so what I end up doing is I'm just kind of like selfishly like, okay, I'm going to carve one out for myself here, and the rest of y'all can fight over the edges. And I shouldn't do that, but
there's a solution here, Jared.
Okay.
Act like you're being selfless and get everyone else a piece first from the outside. And then you're like, oh, well, now it's time for the next row, and we're on the inside, so I guess I'll have one of those.
Well, I have a system, and that is to partner up with my brother. And my brother loves frosting. Okay. And so we're good pairs because
your brother loves everything dessert related.
Yeah, he's a dessert guy. Yeah. And so he will gladly take the corner piece because it might have more frosting on it. And then I can kind of, work around, and like if I get handed a corner piece, I can give it to him, and then I can take the next one. So I have a system there, but it's one of those things where I know what I want. And if I'm only going to have the one piece, I really want the one that I want, not one I don't want. And so I like the middle piece of a piece of cake.
Well, all right then. I'll be sure to serve you up only perimeter pieces of things from now on. whenever you're at my
The
place.
crust. Yeah.
Yes. Well, my next one is my favorite cereal. And I don't even know when this started. I think I was in like middle school or high school. I couldn't tell you why. Most people would tell you their favorite cereal, some sugary mess, whether it's Captain Crunch or, Apple Jacks or something like that. Mine is Crispix. And
Really?
yes, and the reason I think it's weird is like I feel like such an old man. Like I just love me a good bowl of Crispix. Jared, they're delicious. Corn on one side, rice on the other.
Oh.
It's like the perfect blend. You feel great. It's got good fiber for you. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
goodness sakes.
I like them. They're good.
I'm trying to think if I've ever even had. So I'm not a big cereal person either. Like I'll eat Cheerios.
And you know what? I'm
That's
not
about
either
all
because
I really have.
I don't hardly eat breakfast.
Yeah, I'm
But-
not a breakfast person either.
And for whatever reason, when I'm at my grandparents' house, then I eat breakfast. I don't know why. And my grandmother,
All the sackets get their
Yes.
fiber. Yep.
my
okay.
grandmother, bless her heart, she always has Crispix around whenever I'm there. It's just like a nostalgia thing. I don't know. And we use them for like Chex Mix as well, because Crispix for Chex Mix are perfect because
Right.
it has the corn and the rice
Right.
types
Right.
on each individual piece. It's weird. I don't know why it's my favorite cereal. And my wife even just had a bowl the other day, and she's like, "This is so
How are the
boring."
two? I don't know if I've ever had them. How are the two combined? Or like
It's
glued
like-
together?
I really don't know because they're hexagonal as opposed to square like Chex.
Okay.
But literally, they're like 3-dimensional, right? And so they've got kind of two sides to them.
Okay.
And one of the sides is lighter than the other. You can tell when you're looking at it. Like this is the corn side, this is the rice side.
Somebody's in a factory somewhere gluing those together.
Apparently.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what sort of wizardry they're using to get Crispix assembled, but I like them and I'm not ashamed of them.
Okay, my next food foul is a lack of color, and I don't do this on purpose, but I notice it every Thanksgiving that I go through and I get whatever I want for Thanksgiving meal. And this is supposed to be this really robust meal, this feast. And man, mine is all sepia colored.
Brown.
It's all shade. It goes from the light off white of a chicken breast or a turkey breast to like the darker browns of a dinner roll, and everything else is in between. The
Mashed
gravy and the mashed
potatoes.
potatoes. Right? I mean, I just don't. I have such a lack of color on my plate, and that's not on purpose. A lot of the colorful things I don't care for, or whatever. I don't know. But it is all like one hue, just
Yes.
there's different shades.
To be fair, at least half, if not more of that, of the foods that we traditionally serve for holidays are of that type
Yeah.
of lack of color, basically, more or less. So you just don't happen to like the green bean casserole and
No.
the cranberry sauce or whatever.
No, yeah, there's a lot of the colorful things that I just don't. I don't go for it. I mean, especially the cranberry sauce that's like out of a can and it
That
kind of
stuff
sits on
has
a plate.
never looked appealing to me.
I don't think that looks like food.
No.
And so I look at that and I'm just like,
It's like alien spam or something.
I want there to be plenty for everyone else. And
Yeah.
so I don't want to take any myself, thank you. And so that's not my thing.
Well, I absolve you of this particular food foul. I think it's okay. I mean, we should maybe get a little color in your life occasionally.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be, but yeah.
I've got one final one here.
Okay.
And going back to the Funyun thing, this is a cracker. I don't know who invented this or thought it'd be a good idea, but man, I love them, and God bless that person. Chicken in a biscuit.
Oh, I like those. Yeah.
Isn't it weird that we like them, though? It's
Yeah.
a chicken-flavored cracker. But I dare you to eat just one.
Yeah.
You open that box and they get consumed so quickly. And I don't eat them all the time, but when I do get them, that box gets devoured very quickly.
That is hard to just eat one.
Yeah.
Because they're savory.
Yeah.
And so they got that chicken flavor. It's like chicken soup on a cracker.
There is a legendary story in my family, and I don't doubt its veracity at all. apparently, on my paternal grandparents' honeymoon,
Okay.
at one point in time, my grandfather, whilst in bed at some point, was eating chicken in a biscuit on his honeymoon.
Sounds like the setup to a bad joke.
I know, right? Just very alluring and appealing, I'm sure.
And the punchline is that your grandmother did not kick him out of bed for eating crackers, right?
Something to that
effect, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe that just testifies to how good they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
So good, you'll eat them on your honeymoon.
Boy, now I wonder how long have those been around?
That's a great question, but that question will have to be answered another day.
Right, yeah, okay. Well, my last one, and Caleb, I thought actually you could probably help me with this. It may help to have an outsider's point of view, but something that I like in my food, in spite of all the plain things that I eat, I like things that are spicy. I like things that are painfully spicy. And more than once, I've been eating said items in my office, and you come by and
laugh at your
head
expense.
in with curiosity. Yes, yeah. When I say spicy, I mean I need to have tears flowing down my cheeks. And
well, we should be clear. We're not talking about Indian food, okay? There are levels of spice out there, but you like getting the hottest buffalo sauce that you can get on your wings from Pizza Hut or wherever. Right. And you like the flavor, but it also is painful. Like it hurts you a little bit. You get into like a deep sweat and your body temperature starts rising. And I see you in here and you do this whole thing where like you're getting toward the end of it and you just kind of go and you are like looking up at the ceiling, trying to lean back, trying to like loosen and relax your body a little bit.
You gotta take a breather once in a while.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, it just hurts so good.
We made a special trip going through Nashville one time to go to a chicken place. It's just a hole in a wall kind of diner kind of place, but they sell this chicken and they make this really spicy fried chicken. And that was a whole new level of pain. And I waited in line for hours. Didn't get my plate of food until like midnight.
Really?
And, oh yeah.
Wow.
And Shannon dropped me off there, and then put the kids to bed at a motel, and then came back to get me. And I mean, boy, we waited.
And you're just dying.
Oh, it was so worth the wait. It was wonderful. She took a picture of me. The same thing. I'm like sweating and my face is turning red, and I loved it.
You're like, what a great experience.
Oh, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know what it says about you psychologically.
No, and there might be some kind of, I'm punishing myself or I'm paying penance. Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. But that's just some of the weird things that we eat, and I don't. Like I said, I don't apologize for all of them. Some of them I would still do, but I
guarantee you other people have them too, though. And I'm curious to hear, other people maybe hear this little podcast and tell us some of the crazy foods that they like, and maybe everybody's like, yeah, I like that weird food too. Maybe some people are like, you're strange, Patrick Mahomes, with your ketchup on steak or whatever.
And isn't there a weird almost pride? Because I think there are people out there that are going to eat the pickled pig's feet, and they're going to eat the really strange, game bird or something like that.
And they're proud of it.
They're kind of proud of it. Yeah. This is weird little game, this dynamic that we have between us and other people. This is the thing that I like, and it's not completely conformed to what everybody else thinks is good. And so, yeah, it's kind of what makes things interesting.
No shame.
Yep. Variety is the spice of life, right?
Indeed it is.
All right. Thank you, Caleb.
Yep.